The most streamed movie in 2022. That's right. I think it's actually of all time at 52 billion streams. That's our stream hours. That's how long it's been streamed. And it actually over its opening like 28 days of season 4, it had 1.35 billion hours of streaming, which is also nuts. And if you put that in comparison, apparently the whole Office streaming, like the whole Office the Office, which went through, I think it was like 124 episodes. It streamed for 57 billion hours. So, I mean, Stranger Things is not there yet, but it's very close. And for this, it's a huge success. It's a huge win for them. Number 2 for 2022 is Wednesday as the highest streamer, which again was a huge hit for Netflix. And season 5 is going to be coming out soon, which will be the end of Stranger Things, which will probably even break even more records because, as we talked about yesterday, Stranger Things is one of the biggest hits for Netflix. And Netflix only has so many shows that are just like massive hits that where people keep tuning in for. And I wasn't surprised when I saw this, being like, oh, of course Stranger Things broke streaming records. That makes sense. Everyone's talking about Stranger Things. It has that 80s nostalgia, which I think is huge and helps it be successful. Rachel, you hear about this. Are you surprised that Stranger Things broke streaming records? And do you think that season 5 will just do even bigger numbers?
I think season 5 will keep pace. I'm not surprised to hear that it's kind of been the biggest streaming phenomenon of the year. It's the most close to what we used to have with group television watching back in the day when you had like just time slots and you watched what was on. And the next day you'd all go to the water cooler or whatever social event you're at and just talk about the whatever television you watched. So Stranger Things has kind of filled this cultural gap for large scale viewing, which I think is really interesting. Do I think it's the best show that came out last year? No. But do I think it's culturally significant in the fact that it's getting people talking about like regular viewing again? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely leaving an impact, which is great. I mean, I love the show, but I hear you. There's a lot of shows that are a lot different. This is still kind of a niche kind of show, right? Compared to other big entertainment. I mean, it's not. I'm thinking about Severance. That's the first show that comes off my head. Severance is like a drama, a very in-depth psychological kind of drama that deals with a lot of humanity issues. It's different. It's not dealing with that. It's kids fighting monsters. You know, that's what it is. It's like Goonies. It's pretty much Goonies. And it's fun. It's lighthearted. It's darker tones, but it's just well done. And it really pulls on heartstrings and pulls in an older generation to watch a younger generation, which I think makes it a big hit. Sabrina, what do you think? Do you believe that Stranger Things is going to be a even bigger hit for season 5? Does this surprise you with the numbers, or do you think this is on par for this series as a whole?
I think it's on par with the series as a whole for sure. My thing is, if I'm looking at these numbers, I'm much more impressed with Wednesday's performance because it's a brand new show. It has 0 following, and it came out of the box with a very small number below Stranger Things, which has been out for years, which has a following, which has a fan base, you know, and like, so Stranger Things, the previous episode, I mean, the previous season 3, was 3 years before they released season 4. So there is a shit ton of anticipation. When there was like, oh, Stranger Things coming back, everyone's like, fucking finally, what? And then they rewatch all the other seasons, where all caught up, see what's going to happen. Like the anticipation level, I think, is like unparalleled for a series. So it makes sense to me that the first 28 days of season 4 was insane viewing because people have been, you know, they've been following the show for years.
Waiting for it.
Yeah, Wednesday, brand new show out of the box, almost caught them, you know, in the first 28 days, which is the cycle that I believe Nielsen was measuring. So, I mean, Stranger Things, yes, on par. Yes, great show. I do love that it's original content. And even though Wednesday is based on, you know, the Addams Family, which is not new, the content was new. The direction they took with it was new. It's a different idea. Ozark was also in the top 3 there, which is also an original show. So I think with these numbers, people out there who are creating things should try to make new and different, awesome things instead of doing the same bullshit over and over and over again. I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I have had enough.
Wednesday is based on an existing property, though.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But the take on it is totally different.
Yeah.
Like there's never been following her. And she's like kind of like a Nancy Drew situation going on. There's all new characters. Everyone has powers. Like it's a totally different take on it.
Absolutely. But you have like the existing Addams Family hype. So like there
Absolutely,
is a
and-
built-in audience there.
Yeah.
I mean, ish. I don't think enough to warrant those numbers, though. And I
That's
think
fair.
Tim Burton had a lot to do with it, you know, because he has his own audience as well. But I still, even though it is based on the Addams Family, which I said, like, I do think that it was a completely different direction than anything that's ever come out relating to the Addams Family. You know, even the show, which went on for seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
I think-
I think that it hit a good demographic of viewers, like like people my age are watching it, but then you also are in that, which is the same thing with Stranger Things. You have that younger audience that's like growing
Yep.
with the characters. So I feel like that's, you know, a really big deal to hit the different demographics of viewers.
I also think for Stranger Things though too, it's the separation as well. Like you waited that long. Of course, there's a long wait from 3 to 4, right?
3
Seasons 3 and
years.
4. I know, because of COVID, because of a lot of things on top of that factors, but also then they broke apart the season into 2 parts. So now they left it at a good cliffhanger and kept that momentum up. And then so the back half did just as well. So the question is, will that work? Will they do this? I think they are doing the same thing actually for the next half. Do you think that's kind of a way of, I guess, kind of manipulating the audience a little bit there? What do you think about that, Rachel? By separating like that, do you think that makes people like want to watch it even more? Do you think that helps, or do you think that's just like a bad thing to do? I think they should just drop the whole thing at once.
I hate that trend. I hate the trend of splitting up seasons because, like,
It sucks.
what The Walking Dead, they put out the last season over the course of 3 years. Just call it different seasons, guys. It's okay to have
Yeah.
a short season. British TV has like 6-episode seasons. It's okay. You don't need to give us 3 episodes at a time and over 5 years. It's ridiculous. Just call it.
The world will not blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, and they pretty much are. The way they end it, they kind of like wrap it up in a way, but leave us wanting a little bit more. Especially how this one left off with Vecna. Now we finally found out who he is, and we're seeing him in his world, and it's like leading up to this fight. You know, so it's like, okay, we kind of know where it's going. It leaves anticipation, but just put it all together. Come on, give us the whole thing at once. We don't want to wait. That we're in that world. We're in like the ADD America world where we want it now. We can't wait for shit, you know, and or just make it 2 seasons. Don't call it A and B. It just confuses people too, which is a problem.